That's one of my biggest concerns is regardless of the generation you're in, if you're thinking that you don't need to use AI or I can just wait, you can't. You
Yeah.
really have to start using it now. And there are so many online resources, whether it's watching a video on YouTube or reading blogs that can help you learn how to really utilize AI in so many aspects of your life. It doesn't have to be all of them. I think we're seeing it in all aspects of life is that now with AI, but also working from home remotely, uh, dealing with people has become a bit more of a challenge, right? I think the whole working remotely, but also now the integration of AI in our work routines are making people more distant. So going back to what you're saying about it having that human interaction, yes, I still think it'll be important. I think it'll be even more important because without that, we're all just going to become
Yeah, in
like
a sense,
the movie Wall-E.
Well, hello, and thanks for coming on by and joining me today on Gears of Gear. And so, fresh back from Las Vegas from the LDI show, got a lot to talk about there. But for us, it was an incredible show. It started with the Saturday night event. The show started Sunday, and well, it was actually the Saturday day event. So I did the first the X Live, which was the first set of concert sessions done by X Live at LDI. Was a success. It wasn't huge. I mean, there were probably, I'm guessing, 50 or 60 people in the audience, and but they took a lot from it. There were 4 total sessions, as I recall, all excellent. The first one was probably my favorite, but I did one as well. I was the moderator for one of the sessions, which was remarkably called Show Wreckers. And so I know that nobody's that shocked that I would have a session called Show Wreckers. But yeah, that was a really cool event. And then I rushed from there over to Dining with Dinosaurs, which is the Geezers of Gear event at LDI. And we kind of started it last year with a pilot. We did something really small and just to test it and see if there was interest. There was huge interest. So this year we went a lot bigger. I will say, the show got very much behind it. I'm quite thrilled with just all of the work that they put into it, the effort that they put in, and the money that they put in as well to make it a really cool event. And so the room looked beautiful. The stage was beautiful. I got some complaints on the lighting, especially because there wasn't enough lighting on me, which nobody's ever complained about before. I think they'd rather me be in the dark. But overall, I think the room was excellent. The visuals were excellent. The sound was great. But there were somewhere between 300 and 400 people there as attendees, and then 20 incredible dinosaurs. There's a good word. I just made up another word. Dinosaurs were there. And I mean, this list of dinosaurs, just incredible. I know I've talked about them a whole bunch before, so I won't share the list with you again. But incredible list of people. The amount of learning and just exchange of information and stories that went on in that room on Saturday night was just unbelievable. And then, of course, topping it off was giving the first ever Golden Dino Awards to both Roy Bickle and Joe Branham, who started together 63 years ago and have remained very close friends ever since. And they literally are the two godfathers or dinosaurs of rigging. They were in tears. Scott, who gave them the award, was in tears. The awards were incredible. They came from Apollo and Avid Labs, Joel. And so I'm very, very grateful. I'm very just thrilled to be a part of this event, let alone sort of the founder of the event. So Saturday night was incredible. The show was cool. James and I are going to talk about that today. So, by the way, I am going to be introducing you here shortly to James Brett, who is not only my business partner and friend and co-owner of GearNet, which is the parent company of my companies, but he's also a very successful businessman, both within this industry and outside this industry as well. So I decided that I wanted to do sort of an LDI recap, not by myself, not with anyone else, but with James, who spent a couple of days at the show as well. So please welcome James Brett, Mr. James Brett in the flesh. How are
Finally,
you?
I'm great.
Finally.
How are you?
I am doing pretty well, actually. I've been back home in South Florida for a couple of days now, and warming up because Vegas was so friggin' cold every day, which
It
was actually
wasn't.
nice. I
It
like it.
wasn't that cold, and believe it or not, we have broken records the latter part of this week. Yesterday it was 74 degrees here,
Oh, really? Hmm.
and today it'll hit 72. And
Yeah,
normally it's
I
supposed
mean,
to be in the low 50s.
I never left the hotel without a jacket. It was cold. To me, I
Yeah.
think it was like 45 in the morning or whatever, and
No,
60 during the day. That's what I.
low 50s in the morning or overnight,
Oh, I thought it was colder
but
than
you
that.
can see on my
Yeah,
screen in
it's
the
sunny
back
and
here, it's
clear. Yeah,
yeah, live
yeah,
feed as you know, but for other folks, it's a live camera feed that I have a remote on here, so I can
yeah.
move it over.
In lost wages.
Yes, yeah, and then behind us here, whoop, if we scoot over here and I get out of the way, that's the Allegiant Stadium where the
Yeah,
Raiders lose so often. Uh,
yeah.
yeah, but
Yeah, it's a
you
beautiful
know Vegas
building for
well.
such an ugly team.
Yeah. I mean,
That-
it and why they made it black, I have no idea. I
because
mean,
the Raiders
making
are,
a
the whole thing is black. The uniforms are black. They wear black masks. Like they're the dark angels of football, basically, you know?
the Darth Vader of football.
They
Yeah,
are. I
if
mean,
only
that's
they were.
them. That's the sort of impression they want to make is, "Rawr, black."
Yeah,
So it's all
but
good.
again, a black building in Vegas
I know.
in the summer. I mean, I don't know what it costs. They had to have done some kind of you know estimate on what it's going to cost increase to cool it with a
Well, maybe
black
all that
building
black
versus a white
stuff on the
building.
outside is actually solar panels and you just don't know it or something. I don't know.
I don't think
But
so.
I think it's the coolest looking building. I think it's killer. Like when I saw it being built and I went, "Oh, it's black. That's sick." But you're right. Like Vegas gets to 115 degrees or whatever. It's not the smartest place to build a black glass building.
Yeah. Well, as you probably know, I've been the audio guy for Super Bowl inside the stadium for the live stuff going inside the stadium, except for halftime. So I've had the fortune of visiting all these stadiums around North America or around America. And Allegiant was last year. And before that, 2 years before that, it was SoFi in LA. And
Hmm.
SoFi, hands down, no comparison as far as the finish and the beauty of the building inside and outside, the landscaping around it, and then just inside the capabilities. That said, Allegiant has a lot of technical capabilities as well, covered with fiber, great that way, etc., as is SoFi. But SoFi is like the Rolls Royce of
It just feels
stadiums.
special. Yeah.
Yeah, where Allegiant's probably the BMW, right?
Yeah.
Um,
What
ironically,
about Dallas? I haven't been inside the Dallas one, but
it's
it's
not
just
great.
big, right?
Well, it's not that big actually because it's
Oh, I
stuffed
thought it was.
inside the city. So I think that's the one. They're all a blur now, but I'm pretty sure Dallas is the one that's
I
like
thought
from
Dallas
the
was
stadium.
really big, like it fits over 100,000 people and stuff. I thought Dallas was the biggest. I don't know.
Now we're gonna
I'll
have
have to
to
Google it at
Google
some
that
point, but
exactly.
yeah, not right now.
Yeah,
Uh, but yeah, so I haven't been inside any of the three that we're talking about right now. I haven't been inside Allegiant, I haven't been inside SoFi, and I haven't been in Dallas. So
and what
I don't
impresses
like
me,
stadium shows. So unless I went there for a
likewise,
football game, I probably wouldn't be there.
and I've been tainted the wrong way because having spent 13 years living in Toronto, the what was known as the Sky Dome there has awful acoustics. I mean, they are beyond bad. So
Right.
every act I've seen there sounds awful, right? Just
Yeah.
has sounded bad. To the point where I normally wear hearing protection, but I almost doubled up there. Compare that to Allegiant and SoFi. That's one thing about Allegiant I will give them. It sounds amazing in
Does
there.
it?
Yeah.
Yeah, you just saw Paul McCartney there, right?
I didn't, a friend of mine, but
Oh, I thought you went to it.
I saw Coldplay, uh who's the other English guy. His It was interesting because that fellow, um the the stadium tour came in. They have a day of setup and then another day of continuing setup and then open the doors.
Yeah.
And in this case, they had said the floor is GA, so all the fans showed up early, and it was a summer's day. And then at, I think it was about 5 o'clock, they hadn't let anyone into the stadium yet, because doors were supposed to, I think, be at 3 or 4. Then at 5 o'clock or 5:30, they said show's canceled because the setup for that tour consisted of 4 massive ground structures, and they were slipping on the floor,
Ooh.
and they had tried to rectify it all over the night and everything like that, but it was because the covering on the stadium floor in Allegiant was this rubber sort of, almost like dance floor matting, but the structures were so heavy they were slipping on
Was it
that.
maybe Metallica or something?
No, no, no. Who's
Could
the
have.
English guy? I want to say his name's James, but um, young
I don't know.
fellow. Uh, oh, it's going to
Doesn't
bug me
matter.
now, but
Yeah.
yeah. So yeah,
Interesting.
canceled at the last minute, and then rescheduled. At Ironically, it was on Halloween night, and so he came out dressed in an outfit, and then not everybody, but say half the audience were also in costume, which kind of made it fun. And then
Mm.
he really went all out. He said, in exchange for everybody being inconvenienced, he brought out one of the singers from the Killers.
Not
uh
Ed Sheeran. Are you talking about
yeah,
Ed Sheeran?
Aaron,
Yeah,
thank you,
yeah.
thank you, thank
Okay.
you, thank you. Yeah. And he brought out a couple of guest, artists, one of them being the guys from the Killers. So they did a song together, and I thought, well, that's really cool. But it sounded amazing. And as an audio guy, for me to say that, it's got to be pretty good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Elation Lighting is a privately held corporation established in 1992 and headquartered in Los Angeles. All products are developed and engineered in the United States, with sales and support office locations in the USA, Mexico, and Europe, and distribution via a worldwide dealer network.
Elation Lighting presents the Rebel Profile, a powerful high-output LED moving head with dynamic color mixing with high CRI and rugged IP65 protection. Unleash the untamed power of the Rebel Profile with explosive output, uncompromising precision, and audacious projection that shatters conventions, all in a packed 500-watt package. The Rebel Profile delivers scene-wide color mixing, variable CTO, and a 7-position color wheel with high CRI filters and UV options. Elation's Rebel Profile harnesses powerful visuals with rotating and fixed gobos, dual rotating prisms, and high-speed iris. With an IP65 outdoor rating, it enables designers to create captivating experiences in the harshest outdoor conditions. Featuring a customizable logo plate, the Rebel series lets you brand every moment. Bold, distinct, and unmistakably yours. Break free from the status quo.
Well, and stadiums don't generally sound good. Like, I remember there was a big controversy, when the Spice Girls went back out
Oh,
on tour,
God.
like probably 8 years ago or something like that. And they were playing football stadiums in Europe.
Oh, yeah.
And especially the European football stadiums generally are pretty old, and
Yeah.
they're meant to be noisy in that bowl, right? So that the
Right.
fans just create such an atmosphere and
Android.
stuff.
Yeah.
And there was this big controversy online about how terrible the sound was after the opening show. Like, where was it? Was it Barcelona? I don't remember where it was, but it was one of the big,
One of the
European
football
cities.
stadiums. Yeah.
Yeah. And they were just slaughtered over how bad the sound was. Like, people were asking for refunds and all kinds of
Wow.
stuff. And finally, I think it was either the audio company or the front of house guy just came out and said, you're all welcome to come and try and mix sound in one of these stadiums that's meant to echo, meant to sound like shit, meant to, have all this reverberation and stuff. It's just really hard to work against.
Yeah. Oh,
So
I get it. Uh, whenever I go see a concert, I always go talk to the FOH audio guy and introduce myself and the yada yada yada. And I can't remember what tour it was, but it was I think it was Lady Gaga, and I talked to him after the show because it was quite loud, and for me to say it's quite loud, it's got to be pretty loud.
Yeah.
And I went back and chatted with him. I said, it sounded really good, but it was really loud. I could inch it up there. He says, yeah, I just got to stay above the audience. He says the audience is so loud, to try to keep above them is a challenge. And then it's one of those things where he inches it up, the audience becomes louder. He inches it up, the
Yeah.
audience becomes louder. It's a no-win
Yeah.
situation.
I remember I had done with Steve Cohen back in the day, and I think it was Peter Morse who did Backstreet Boys, but I did those back to back, and I think a Beyonce tour in there too. And I had to go see multiple shows of these because I had provided a fairly large lighting package to them. And the audience just like, I never wore ear protection to shows until I
Right.
went to those ones, because from the time the lights went down, it was just nonstop screaming at the top of their lungs. And I was just
Yeah.
like, oh my God, anybody got earplugs?
Yeah.
And
It's
sometimes,
the
yeah, you could hear it
screaming.
over the music.
Yeah.
South America, like Brazil, is like that very much. Like if you watch Rush in Rio, I think it's called, any of the videos from Rush in Rio, like the song YYZ, which is an instrumental, the entire crowd singing it.
Wow.
Every note, the guitar solo, they sing the drum solo. I mean, they are so loud. I'm listening to this killer DVD of my favorite band, Rush, when it came out, I don't know, 20 years ago or something. And I was thinking, I can't even hear the music. Like, they are so noisy.
That's wild. And as you said, there are no lyrics. They're literally singing along to the sounds, the instruments.
They sing the
That's
guitar
wild.
solos. They sing the melody, musical
So
part of
cool.
the song. Like, it's crazy. It really, South America, they're so passionate about their live shows. And
I mean, I
yeah,
think
they
we are
sing all the
here
way
in
through
North
it.
America as well, right? And nowadays, the shows just become more and more technically advanced, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the PA systems, though, nowadays with line array getting better and better and better. And I think you and I talked about the competition with lighting and LED screens. So now the
Yeah.
LED screen's brighter, so now
Boop,
the lighting
boop,
has to be
boop,
brighter.
boop,
Yeah.
boop. Yeah.
And
Everybody's just leapfrogging each other on output. And next thing you know, we're all going to go blind at how bright it is coming off the stage, you know?
yeah,
It's
I was
crazy.
talking about this, it might have, I don't think it was you, but about the power strain that's put on the stadiums when these shows come in.
Right.
And I remember way back when, now I'm dating myself, Michael Jackson came to Vancouver, and they had,
The wall of data flash.
I think it was Show Power back then, had two 53-foot trailers with generators in them. And I just remember this, wide swath of, whatever it is, cable, Camlock cable, but huge, heavy gauge to just power his show, because it was back then, it was all Parkans, right? But
Well, no, but they
nowadays,
had that whole back wall of data flash, high end data flash, AF 1000s.
wow.
If that was the Dangerous tour, I think, if that's the same one you saw.
Yeah,
But
I think so. Yeah.
yeah,
But, so you think, okay, back then, sure, you understand a Parkan's 1,000 watts. Nowadays, you don't think that the fixtures are going to be drawing that much, but they actually are. Plus, now people have way more of them, right? I
yeah, they
mean,
got way more of them, and they just keep getting brighter. So you've got 3 or 4 times the output that you had back then. So you might have had 1,000-watt lighting fixtures, but the 200-watt ones that we have now are putting out just as much. And then nobody uses 200-watt ones because we can get to 1,000-watt LEDs now, putting out 4 times as much as the other one. It's just crazy. It's just like, how bright do we really need it? At some point,
because,
like,
yeah,
let's decide we're at a ceiling,
I don't think we'll ever get there. I honestly
No.
don't. I think it'll get to the point where people will need to wear sunglasses to
Well,
a show, right?
Sound did. Like, sound kept getting louder and louder, and our boxes are louder than the Claire boxes are louder than these boxes or whatever, and it kept getting louder. And then we went to line array, and now it's just better distributed. It's not quite louder, although they are pretty loud still, but it just got to be better distributed. Like I remember noticing when Line Array first started happening, like, wow, these are just much more civilized shows. We can actually have a conversation. We don't have to yell over each other, you know?
Right. While your ears may be ringing after the show, as they typically are,
Yeah.
at least they're not hurting,
Yeah.
because that's the way I always felt it back then, starting out in my teens as an audio guy. It was just stacks, right? It's ground supported stacks and stacks and stacks and stacks. That was the same
Yeah.
with Michael
Larger
Jackson.
venue, more speakers. You just blast it harder to the back of the stadium. No delay towers. What do we need those for? You
Exactly.
know,
I just
just turn
remember
it up.
stacks of these Martin subs, right? I
Yeah.
mean, now I'm really dating myself, but single Martin subs, these
The
things were
filler
huge.
shaves.
Oh
Yeah.
my gosh, right? And then just stacks and stacks and stacks of them. So my first ever concert, my dad took me to see Supertramp. And again, dating
That's funny.
myself,
That was my second concert, Crime of the Century, or was it Breakfast in
Breakfast in
America?
America.
I think
Was
mine
it
was Crime of the Century. I think it was even earlier than that. Maybe it was Breakfast in America. Yeah.
Breakfast in America? The entire stage was white. I remember it was really quite incredible because the entire stage was white. And then the wings, they'd obviously put some kind of material over where the sound system was, again, massive, but it was
Yeah.
also all white, right? Audio, transparent.
Yeah.
But I thought, wow. But again, walked around and saw just I mean, just ridiculous amounts of, subs, and then it was the
Yeah.
mids, and then it was these, nasty
Huge. Yeah.
ABL horns, and just like,
Was that the one where was it? I think it was Atlanta Rhythm Section opened for him. Do you
I don't
remember?
recall who opened.
Yeah.
I mean,
Because
this
I
is
saw them at
I was in my
McMahon
teens.
Stadium in Calgary, and I remember it rained,
Oh
and
god.
people pulled up all the tarps from the field and were using them for. And
Oh
then
my
when it stopped
goodness.
raining, they started using them for trampolines, bouncing people up in the air and stuff. It was crazy. And
Wow.
I'm a young kid. First of all, I was trying to figure out, why does everything smell like skunks in here? So weird. What a weird smell. I'm like 11 or 12 or something. I don't remember.
Wild.
But yeah, like the loudest show I ever remember, and I've seen a lot of loud ones, but I was working security for Brimstone Productions in Calgary. Bear was this big concert promoter. And here's me, like 12-year-old skinny kid with long hair, or 13 years old, or whatever I was, maybe 15, I don't know. And working security at Ted Nugent Scream Dream tour.
You were
And
in your teens working security?
yeah, how? I don't have any idea. So I
Wow.
had to stand between the stage and the barrier, and you've got these stacks. And he bragged that we're the loudest show on tour.
My
I'm
god.
sure I lost, whatever hearing damage I have, probably half of it I lost that night. Like, it was stupid. And of course, no earplugs.
Right.
Who had earplugs back then? Nobody.
Back then, no. I mean, we didn't care about it, right?
No. Now I do. Because now it's like,
Um,
what? What? What?
Oh yeah, and I also find audio guys will get this, but I find that not only is it more comfortable to hear, but when I've got my hearing protection in because they're fitted, it actually sounds much clearer. You can hear all of the separate instruments, and
Yeah.
you're basically muting out
Yeah, it
most of
cleans
the
it all up.
audience. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
So those
Yeah,
of
it's
you who don't
true.
have hearing protection, next time you're at a concert, just plug your ears and take a
It
listen.
takes a minute to get used to, but once you're used to it, it does sound better.
It's great, right?
It definitely takes away a lot of the noise.
And then you can talk
Yeah.
to whoever you're with as opposed to shouting.
Yeah. So before we get to the LDI stuff, I'm thinking people are watching this and going, "Who the hell is this dude?" So James Brett is actually, first of all, he's my business partner in what we call GearNet, and GearNet owns both GearSource and GearShare. And James came on as a partner probably almost exactly a year ago, I think.
Yes.
And so since that time, we've become very good friends. I think we became good friends before that even. And but he's got a really interesting history. First of all, he's Canadian. You can tell he talks a little bit like me. Actually, he still has more of a Canadian accent than I do, I think. And but you built a company in Canada in not really the concert touring industry, but sort of a similar industry, in the same industry, but a different part of it. Mainlight, a trusted name in dry hire lighting and stage equipment rentals. Whether you're lighting a theater show, producing a major concert, or building out a broadcast set, Mainlight delivers the gear you need to make your vision a reality. They offer a massive inventory of the latest moving lights, control consoles, trusses, LED fixtures, and durable IP65 rated gear that's perfect for both indoor and outdoor environments. From small-scale productions to massive stadium tours, Mainlight is known across the industry as the partner you trust with the gear you want. But that's not all. Mainlight also offer new equipment sales from your favorite brands and used gear pulled direct from their rental fleet. Every used item is rigorously maintained and backed by a 60-day depot warranty, giving you confidence and value in every purchase. With 3 strategically located facilities in Teterboro, New Jersey, Wilmington, Delaware, and Las Vegas, Nevada, you get nationwide access and the responsiveness of a local provider. Explore their rental inventory, request a custom quote, or browse their sales offerings online today at mainlight.com.
Right.
So
Yeah.
tell me about that. I know about it, but tell them
Yeah.
about that.
So started that company while I was still in my teens with a business partner who was 10 years my senior. And at the time, I thought, I've got nothing to lose. I'm still in my teens. Even if this thing fails, I'll figure something else out. And I was in a pretty great position at that point in my life. I'd worked for a big sound company in Vancouver, and I had been sort of approached by a number of other companies. Oh, James, come and work for us. And so I finally said, there were a number of circumstances, I won't get into it now, but there was an opportunity now to leave. There was something that was pushing me along. And I talked to my business partner, Kevin, who also worked at the same sound company. And I said, let's do this. Let's go start our own company. And I can't believe that he had the confidence he did in me back then. Because like you were saying earlier about long hair and skinny, that was me. Back then, when I had more hair, and a super, super skinny guy. And I also still had my very British accent because I was born in the UK. And so we started a corporate AV company, but we focused primarily back then on sound and staging. Video hadn't really become a thing back then. And then
you were based in Vancouver?
Based in Vancouver, that's right, yes. And so we actually started out, the company had our names as part of the company name. It was Lineback Brett Event Production and Technology, or something like that, some long one. But when we had talked to a marketing person, they said, go with your names because people will recognize your names, especially Kevin's being particularly unique. And started that in 1989. And I was actually on tour in the UK while Kevin quit the sound company. So no one really knew what was going on. They knew that I had left, and then Kevin left while I was on this tour. And when I came back, we had this company, and we built it out of Vancouver, which is very unusual in Canada for folks who know Canada. To start something in Vancouver and then move east is just not heard of, right?
Yeah.
Maybe WestJet, right? Or that might be the closest thing where they're based in Calgary. So we expanded into Alberta next, and then expanded into Ontario. We did Toronto and Ottawa. And part of that growth was fueled by a .com that we had started in the late 90s, early 2000s, called onlinebroadcasting.com. It was very similar to Mark Cuban's broadcast.com, although it was the Canadian version. And unfortunately, I didn't make $4 billion when I sold it. Yeah. But we did sell it to TELUS, actually, back in the early 2000s. And it spawned off a number of other businesses, but it helped us expand into Ontario in particular, because Toronto, corporate Canada.
And in Canada, though, you can't be an English speaking company and go into Quebec, though, can you?
It was so hard. Yeah, it really was. And we had looked at a number of opportunities, partnering or merging with a company, or finding our own fellow to lead it. But again, it came back to the culture and us as Anglos, right? Kevin and myself as business partners. So that
Yeah,
really didn't happen.
Canada's weird like that. Quebec is sort of its own market. Well, actually, Montreal's almost its own market inside Quebec, and then you've got Quebec, and then you've got the rest of Canada.
Yeah.
It's very strange.
And we did a lot of shows in Quebec that we would
Yeah.
drive from Ottawa or Montreal, or Ottawa or Toronto, which again, not a big deal in North America. Drive for 4 hours to go to a show is not unheard of.
Hmm.
Yeah. So, and then that all culminated in 2014 when we were approached to sell the company. And so we went out and looked at other companies that might be interested. And we ended up selling to what then or how it's now become Encore Canada or Encore North America. So
Right. Huge
pretty
company.
proud of pretty proud of what we built there and having the opportunity to give our team a chance to work with such a big company, huge financial backing, et cetera, et cetera.
So the desire to sell it though, was it based on anything? Like, was it based on you wanting to try different things, or you realizing that it was becoming really capital intensive, the industry, all of
All
the
of the
above?
above. Yes,
Yeah.
I missed out a little important component there. We were first acquired by a private equity firm that merged us and a number of other corporate
Uh-huh.
AV companies, and that was sort of the first stage. But we knew that their desire, like any private equity company, you and I have been talking about this just in general in the business of technology
Yeah.
for special event companies. Yeah, we knew that their goal was to acquire more companies, make us a big company that was then ultimately sold, not that many years afterwards, to what was then PSAV and turned out to be Encore. So, but yeah, as you said, it was a number of those things. It was really getting capex heavy. And as you know, Canada's population is less than that of California, yet we were across 4.5 time zones. So for us to move equipment efficiently was really difficult, just logistics wise, right?
Yeah.
And so
I
it
don't think
started.
people know that about Canada. Like, it's physically a larger land mass than the United States, but with 10% of the people.
Right. And I like to say 4.5 time zones. That
Yeah.
gives some people a little bit of a reality check there about how big this landmass is.
Right.
So for us to ship something across the country could take minimum 6 or 7 days. That's on a good day, right?
Hmm.
So yeah, the capex stuff was getting heavy. Technology was changing really, really fast. The advent of LED screens becoming more prominent because we were looking at those. But that was $1 million investments, right? And same with audio. We had to invest in line array, which we did. But it just felt like this never-ending black hole of money that you had to pour more into to stay
Yeah.
ahead of the game.
Welcome to
Because
the
that was,
live events industry.
yeah, and it was also how we remained relevant and how we were managed to keep our pricing, because we always said we weren't the cheapest in town, but we had to be better. I always say in 3 ways, and one of those was the equipment. We chose the best equipment we could find.
Hmm.
But again, that's not cheap. Those are tough decisions to make. So
No. Yeah.
really glad
So
I got rid of it when I did.
you sold the company, and I'm assuming you had a non-compete for a while, and then you just had no desire to jump right back into the industry,
Yeah.
start
So
another rental company.
um, I, I've got gear in my DNA. My mother has stories of me taking things apart before I can even remember. Right.
Hmm.
So I did. I had a good little sort of couple of years off in a work-life balance. I moved down here to Vegas, got out of the Toronto sort of 2 seasons of winter and road construction. It was also the year of
And a
the crack
shitty
smoke.
hockey team.
Yeah, and it was also the year of the crack smoking mayor.
Oh,
So I
geez, what
thought,
a mess that
I'm
was.
yeah,
Yeah.
I'm done with this. Moved down here and then started to look at opportunities, and a number of them came up. One of them is Apix Technology. Really, really cool company that has about or just over 50 patents globally that
Whoa.
allows us to, or our clients to, control smartphones. The key here is unlimited number of smartphones and does not require any Wi-Fi or mobile data connection. You can literally have your phone in airplane mode as long as Bluetooth is turned on. So part of our technology and the way we are able to do this is we use Bluetooth, but we're just broadcasting it. So your phone doesn't need to pair, which allows us to do unlimited recipients. And the other factor is there, because we're not using the transmission part of your phone, the battery life is very, very long. So we're
So
really not.
how does it connect? It connects through an app or something? They download an
That's
app
right.
and
Yeah,
then you connect to the app?
That's exactly it. Yeah, download an Apix capable app. So it's sort of like Apix inside, kind of like the Intel inside thing.
Yeah.
And then once you've run that once on your phone, it doesn't matter actually where you go. If Apix is there, we can send, for example, emergency public health and safety messages, even though you have got the app for Allegiant Stadium here in Vegas and you go to another stadium that we're in, you would get those emergency messages or be a part of whatever the audience
That's
engagement
cool.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not reliant on Wi-Fi or any connectivity. So if you have no cell signal, you can still
Yeah.
communicate with them, safety
Really,
information, etc.
really, really critical. Looking back at the tragedy here, the shooting on
Yeah.
October back in the day, uh, I don't like to sort of say if we had been there, but if we had been there, we could have told people what were the safe exit routes and actually blue dot them out of the area, and then providing in as instant updates as we possibly could to the audience, but also provide separate information out to the production team, operations team, security teams, first responders can all get their own unique messaging that's in real time, basically, to help people be safe, right?
Yeah.
So that's one example. And another is, as you're approaching the venue before it's even started, what's the parking lot situation like? Is gold parking full? So now you got to go to silver. As you're approaching the stadium, is gate A congested? Go to gate C. All those kinds of bits of information can be provided out in real time. As well as on the sports side, doing scoring, live scoring, etc.
Right. I think even before all of that stuff, though, you were able to like put colors on the phones and strobe the phones and things like that, right? Similar to the
Exactly.
like LED bracelets and stuff.
That's where it started, and that's why I got interested, because the LED wristbands and pendants had already sort of made a play. But now we had this technology to literally let the lighting designer, the lighting operator, or the creative director have, as I like to say, a full color LED fixture in the hands of every audience member, in essence.
Yeah.
And to see that when we did our first show, we were still in stealth mode. We did a show in Hollywood Bowl, and I literally cried because
Yeah.
it was so incredible to see this audience. And Hollywood Bowl is an amphitheater outside, 17,000 people in one sort of swoop, and to see the visual of everyone's phone and then see the expression of the audiences and hear what they were just wow, whoa, wow. And we were doing that as part of a LA Phil's 100th anniversary, and they were doing proscenium projection mapping, and we were so bright, the audience was so bright that we had to turn the phone brightness down because we were washing out the pixel
Jesus.
mapping on the proscenium. Yeah, so very cool.
That's cool.
Very cool. Tons of applications.
Yeah, I mean, from a show standpoint, Super Bowl, all of those different things were in a big show. Coldplay to me seems like an obvious choice because they love doing stuff like that. But that seems to be a small market compared to like safety and security and even marketing. You know, like I could see Taylor Swift selling swag through the thing, for the next 10 minutes. This T-shirt, instead of being $400, is now only $199, $199 for a Taylor Swift T-shirt.
Yeah,
Remember
I mean,
your experience where you spent $10,000 for a concert ticket.
you've hit the nail on the head there, Marcel. The opportunities to find new revenue for our clients, it's unparalleled. Right now,
Yeah.
you've got this new tool. Everyone's got a smartphone. So let's use it and push that information, push those opportunities, whether it's in the stadium or we can also do it at home. So if you're watching a live show or live stream and you're not even at the show in the stadium or arena or festival or whatever, we can give the people at home their own unique experience, as well as pushing out, say, when a commercial comes on, push out an ad or a discount coupon for whatever the promo is. So
Really? That's
engaging the audience.
wild.
Yeah, and that
Yeah.
can all be timed perfectly, right? So
Yeah.
another example is we did the closing ceremonies, the Olympic closing ceremonies in Tokyo during COVID, where we actually were not allowed to travel to Tokyo. So we shipped the equipment, and the crew in Tokyo set it up, and we actually operated it from Vancouver.
Interesting.
When I say operated, it all ran off time code and
There's no
DMX
latency
ultimately.
or anything like that?
No, I mean there's no latency from our perspective. It's about a 50 millisecond delay. The issue we got into there was they wanted to have an at-home experience as well, but they asked for that too late in the game. But having done other shows since, the issue is that the live show happening, it happens in real time and when you're at the stadium.
Yeah.
But at home, depends on what platform you're watching. You're watching
Yeah,
on
it's
cable
true.
TV? Is it
Yeah.
satellite? Is it streaming?
Yeah,
So
it
there
won't
we have to
sync
get in sort of,
perfectly to the television. Yeah.
yeah, we go into sort of an average of the delay in expectation of that. But
Right.
that does become a bit challenging. But
Yeah,
the
so
other
you could do
opportunities
more
are,
things where it's like, hey, text us at, 97906 in the next 30 seconds if you want a chance to win, and 30 seconds covers that gap or whatever, right?
yeah, or
Yeah.
we just look at, instead of having a particular moment that's timed, if people are watching it at home,
Yeah.
we just have to go on an average, right? But in the venue, we can literally, we have the ability to busk. So
Yeah.
when you hit the space bar or the enter bar, we can just literally make everyone's flashlight turn on or off, or whatever it is.
Yeah.
But the other applications are massive in other business segments. So public health and safety for connected cities. We're working on a very large Middle Eastern project that could be truly life-changing for the company, because that's the venue we would go down then. Venue,
Yeah.
wrong word, but live events and sports is actually one of the smallest business segments we see there.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the neat thing is you do have 50 plus patents, like you said. And one of the things I know with AI and with everything going on in the world is IP matters. And IP and data are two very, very important things. And I would guess that you can probably collect a lot of data as well. So, yeah, ever since you've told me about Apix, I've always thought it was a really, really cool. It's like I guess the challenge is it's about 100 solutions, but people haven't pinpointed the problem yet.
Exactly.
And so
We're solving
you
a
have to
problem that
match the solutions to the problems, but you can solve a lot of different problems. So
it is challenging, because we really have to educate our potential clients, right? Because they've never seen something like this before. There are other companies out there doing something similar. One of them in particular uses sound, is super high frequency, up in the 18, 19, 20K side. So typically beyond a human hearing capabilities.
Mhm.
But there, the phone has to be within earshot, obviously, of the PA. So the moment you go into the, concession area, or if you're in a bathroom, or, if you're production and you're in the bowels of the stadium or whatever, you don't get that. With us,
Mhm.
we penetrate the walls. And I love to say this one last story here. We were working with the UFC pre-COVID, and we did a show at Madison Square Gardens. And the president at the time showed up at the last minute. And so Secret Service blocked, jammed all the Wi-Fi and cell signals once the president was about to be in the venue.
Yeah.
And Apix continued to broadcast.
Trump, you can say it, James.
Apix continued to
You can
broadcast.
say his name.
Apix
Say my name, bitch.
Won't do it. But we continued to broadcast, because, again, we weren't making a connection. So they couldn't obviously block all the Bluetooth signals, because then your point of sale systems wouldn't work and all those kinds of things. So that really was, again, early on, another key indicator to us that we had something pretty unique here.
Yeah.
The fact that the Secret Service can't even block us, which is pretty cool.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So then, that trends, that started in 2018, 2019. And of course, 2020, COVID hit, and we had been focusing on the live events and sports market. And that all evaporated.
Yeah,
So
I get it.
we looked at other opportunities, and then I myself looked at other opportunities, and that's kind of how it evolved to.
Yeah,
We have a mutual friend, and he said, you should really talk to Marcel.
yeah,
And I knew of you, of course, and knew of Gear Source, and I'm sure we had met in the past, but nothing really significant. And then when you and I got talking, I just thought, wow, what we're building now, what we were talking about 2 years ago,
yeah,
was at at that point, no, groundbreaking, right? The
yeah,
fact that we were going to use AI was like, what? And now it seems like, well, why wouldn't you? But
yeah.
we're doing
But we're still the
with
only
gear share.
ones. I mean, that's the crazy part. Like we're still the only ones. I go to LDI this past weekend and I talked to 50 companies, and other than like, yeah, we use AI to help us check our emails, or to write our emails or whatever, or we use an AI chatbot on our website. We're
Right.
big on AI, and it's funny how slow it's happening in our industry. It's just like,
It's actually surprising because you'd think that the industry we're in, especially based on technology, that we would have been the first adopters of AI, right? We're
mm,
technical geeks and nerds, at least I am.
yeah.
So let's look at finding ways to use this, wow, cool new technology. So I am equally as surprised, if not more surprised, having started out when I did, and knowing the challenges that these companies have gone through that haven't changed, and now we're providing a solution that's it doesn't require much explanation like Apex does, because we start to talk about it and people are like, "Whoa, oh, okay."
Yeah. But I think here's the problem. I don't think, I know this is the problem. At the foundation of most of the companies in our industry is a creative person or persons. And creatives truly believe with all of their heart that AI is coming for all of our jobs, and creativity is going to go away. There's not going to be creatives anymore because it's all going to be movies created by AI, songs created by AI, lighting designs and lighting shows created by AI, audio, etc. Some of
Video
that is
content.
true.
Yeah,
Some of that is
already.
true.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Some of that is true. If you're a copywriter, chances are you're going to run out of business at some point. If you're creating video content, at some point, you're not going to be necessary anymore. But, I firmly believe, and I say it all the time, you are not going to lose your job to AI. You're going to lose your job to a person doing your job and using AI.
exactly.
So AI and a human combined are like 3 times as powerful as either of those alone. So that's my belief. I could be wrong, and we could all just be doomed, and we're gonna be extinct in a couple of years. I doubt that, but hey, who knows how it
It's
all ends?
it's one of
All
the
I know is I
reasons which
like
is
it.
yeah, one of the reasons which is kind of ridiculous is that I'm polite with AI. So I use Chat GPT a lot. I pay for it. And so I have called chat my chat interface Sally. So
Yeah,
similar to like Siri, I talk to Sally and she calls me James. And I've built a profile within Chat GPT that talks about what I like and how I like things. For example, I try to stay away from the word just, and I dislike the way people use hey as a salutation.
you
And
mean at the
the last,
beginning of every single one of my texts or emails?
but I think I've taught you it's hi, not hey.
Yeah, you're
Um,
trying to train me.
yeah, and the other one is M dashes, and now more and more people understand that. But as a very key indicator of use of AI is the longer dash, especially if there's not a space between the two words.
Yeah.
And M dash is a very key indicator that AI wrote this.
Mhm.
It doesn't mean that AI finished it off, or it could be.
Also, the word unlocking or unlock, like
Right.
unlock the creativity in your whatever.
Reimagine is another one, right?
Typically AI. Yeah.
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 So I'm polite with Sally. I say please and thank you, because I'm hoping when they come and they look for people to do away with.
They're going to remember you were nice.
They were, yeah,
That's
hopefully
hilarious.
they're like, oh, okay, well, James was a nice guy. We'll give him a couple of extra days to live
Yeah,
and see
yeah.
the demise of the earth.
You can live. The rest of you, you die today. We're going to
Yeah.
crush you, burn you.
Terrible, terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the future's weird. That's all I know. Like right now, I know the future is weird. Whatever that weird is, like very soon, you're going to be walking down the street, walking your dog or whatever, and you're going to walk past a robot. That is
Oh,
going to happen. I mean, that's
it's
going to happen in
already
the next
happening.
5 years.
It's already happening, right? The food delivery services in LA and San Francisco in particular, but I also know in New York they're starting out. I mean, there are literally little robots, right? Little carts that will go and deliver
Oh, in
stuff.
restaurants, in restaurants.
Oh, just around, yeah, but also courier delivery and things like that. I mean,
Yeah.
this is now. This is not.
I mean, the first
it's
time
not
you
the
jump in a
Jetsons.
car without a driver is pretty weird, you know, but
Yeah, and they've
again,
deployed
just
that.
waving hello to robots as you're walking your dog is going to be really, really strange. And you know, getting a massage from a robot instead of a human,
That would
going
be
to the
weird.
doctor and instead of an RN, having a robot checking your vitals and talking to you, asking you those questions that they're, you know, do you still take this medication? Do you still have this issue? You know, have you ever changed this? Is your phone number still the same? Like, what do you need a human to do all that stuff for? You just basically don't, right? I mean,
Exactly.
nurses, though, like I'm on the fence on that one because I don't care how good a robot's bedside manner is. It's going to sort of unsettle the person. It's going to make them a little nervous or anxious or whatever talking to a robot, at least at first. But I think eventually we're going to get used to it.
I mean, I talked about it with people we met at LDI, right? That nothing will replace the in-person interaction that we get out of things like conferences, conventions, expos, trade shows, as well as concerts, right? That human interaction is going to become even more essential as AI becomes more deployed in our lives. Because
You know, you say that, but
I do.
I have so many relationships with people doing just what we're doing right here, talking on a screen. You and I were friends and I think even business partners before we ever met in person, you know? Like Sarah, my producer on the podcast, worked for me for like 5 years before I ever met her. I met her at LDI last year and we were the best of friends. And, you know, my operations manager in CareSource, Teo, has been with me 7 years now,
He's in Greece,
and
right?
I've never met him. He's in
Yeah.
Greece.
Yeah.
Never met him.
Wild.
You know, so many people at the show I walk up to and we have a nice big hug, hello, or whatever. Never met him before. I met him on my podcast or something. You know,
Yeah.
it's like there was one person in particular, and I won't shame him here, but I met him at Dining with Dinosaurs the other night. I had never met him before. I met him on the screen like this. I assumed he's 6 feet tall, just like I am. He was like 5'7" or something. I just went, whoa, hey, you down there. You know, it was interesting, you know, because you assume things. So,
Uh, if you recall, the first time we met was actually in New York for David Gilmour.
yeah, in person, right. You're right.
And you had remarked, oh my goodness, you're way taller than I thought you would be.
Yeah.
And there was moments like that where you go, wow, yeah, you forget that you know, even
Because this is
beyond the
normal.
dating
That's what
app.
I'm trying to say. This
Yes.
is normal now because most people have been doing this since 2020.
Right.
I've been doing it though since like 3 or 4 years before that because I've been remote since 2015. And so, but yeah, this got very normal. Working from home, working remote got very normal. I think the rest of this stuff, it'll take a little bit of time getting used to robots. But I mean, people are used to robot vacuums now that just kind of
Right.
cruise around your house and you don't have to push the vacuum. People went from horses to cars. People went from, you know, this to that, whatever it was. Cell phones. I mean, you know, all kinds of different things. So, you know, disruptive technology is disruptive at
Oh,
first,
absolutely.
at least.
Yeah.
And then you get used to it and go, this is just how it is now.
I
You
think
know?
that's, you know, what you were saying earlier. I think that's one of my biggest concerns is regardless of the generation you're in, if you're thinking that you don't need to use AI or I can just wait, you can't. You
Yeah.
really have to start using it now. And there are so many online resources, whether it's watching a video on YouTube or reading blogs that can help you learn how to really utilize AI in so many aspects of your life. It doesn't have to be all of them, but help it build your shopping list, right? Help it find what the cheapest price is on your shopping list. And that's where you should go because it's going to be 10% cheaper than going to the other place.
Yeah.
Things like that, people don't realize that it can be so useful in so many aspects of your life. And you talked about on the health side, countless times I've used it even for my own health, but also for friends and family where
Yeah.
they've had something. I had my nephew was in hospital, and I literally Googled what the indications might mean, and it provided more insight than the doctors that were seeing him could. And so
100%. Like I did this same thing. I take a bunch of supplements every day, really good stuff, but I was having an interaction and I didn't know from what. So I just put I basically took screenshots of all the ingredients on every label and I put it into Grok and said, what could be causing what's happening to me? And it was like, it's definitely this and this. You need to get rid of one of those two and add in this instead. Perfect. It worked.
yeah,
Just like that, like no doctor, no nothing. And like you said, a doctor wouldn't have been able to tell me that, I bet.
right. And
Either
I
that or
think
they'd put the same information into the computer and 3 days later with a $400 bill attached to it, I'd get an
4,000.
answer.
Yeah.
I got it in
Yeah.
2 minutes without waiting for the doctor.
The challenge on that is, and I think we're seeing it in all aspects of life, is that now with AI, but also working from home remotely, dealing with people has become a bit more of a challenge, right? You and I we'll talk to anybody, at least I will, and I know you will as well. But there
Yeah.
are some people who won't take a phone call, right? There are some people that literally will not get on the phone. I still answer the phone.
Yeah.
But I think the whole working remotely, but also now the integration of AI in our work routines are making people more distant. So going back to what you were saying about it having that human interaction, yes, I still think it'll be important. I think it'll be even more important because without that, we're all just going to become
Yeah. In
like
a sense,
the movie Wall-E.
I agree with you. Wally is a great example of where things can go. But like I was just thinking of something. It's only a matter of time before on these like screen Zoom calls, Roam calls, whatever Meet, um, there's going to be a lying, telling the truth symbol underneath each person. So if you say something to me and you're lying to me, it's automatically going to tell me you're lying, and vice versa. Things like that. Like one of the things is all of this AI stuff really is making us all a little more honest, I think, in a sense, because you can fact check things so quickly, in some cases in real time. Like, I don't know if you've used any of the real time translators yet, but oh
Oh, it's
my
amazing.
God, it's the one built into my iPhone's incredible. Like
Yeah.
you're saying to me, hola, paca, paca, pa, whatever. And I'm hearing, hi, what's going on today? What do you want to go for lunch? What do you, I mean, crazy, like in real time. I'm listening to you in my language, you're speaking in your language, and vice versa. You've got your headphones in and you're hearing me speaking English, but it's translating it to us. So I don't know if you saw or if I even shared it to you, but I did a video yesterday, I think, where I just recorded my screen share of GearShare, and I did a quick demo on GearShare. It's going on the homepage, but um, for Gus, so our sales guy is
Right.
Brazilian, and for Gus, I saw there's a new feature in Riverside that says translate, and so I said, oh well, I'm going to try this, and it's Brazilian Portuguese was one of the languages. So I
Amazing.
sent it to Gus and he freaked out. He goes, Marcel, you don't understand. It's your voice. Your dialect is perfect. It
Incredible.
doesn't sound translated. It sounds incredibly natural. All the nuances and stuff are there. Like you can't tell that this was done by technology. And it's a perfect demo in Brazilian Portuguese. Like how
Well,
great is that? And it took about 15 minutes for it to do the translation.
that is incredible. One of my favorite movies of all time is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, and they
Yeah.
put a little, bug in the ear to get things translated, right? And it's kind of what you're saying; it's instant.
Yeah.
But the other one is going back to AI and copying your voice. That is kind of scary, even to folks like me, who I think I'm pretty smart and pretty aware of what the threats are with AI. But that's very concerning because, as you said, Gus said, it's you. sounding, you know, speaking Portuguese, which is remarkable.
Mm-hmm.
I'll just digress just for a moment. One of the .coms I had in 2000, 2001 used that time speech recognition software. And at that time, it was a software called Dragon.
Okay.
And even back then, it had an accuracy rate of about 60 to 70%. So we trained it. So we had people who would listen, kind of like with simultaneous interpretation. They would listen to a conference call in their headphones, and as they're hearing it, they would speak it back into the software Dragon. And because Dragon had been trained, say, to my voice, its accuracy got up to like 95, 98%. And that was, groundbreaking back then, because we were doing things in near real time that had a very high accuracy rate. Nowadays, like exactly what you said, I mean, you can just take this video call, and it's doing instant translation or closed captioning, and then afterwards builds a total transcript with links back to you and I. I mean, this
It's
is
all
remarkable.
incredible.
Yeah,
While you're talking, I'm sitting here looking for the video, because I was just going to show it to you for a quick second, because it really is crazy how cool it is.
I'd love to
But I
see it.
can't find it. I
Oh,
can't find it. I'll send it to you later.
we have to share that online too. The other
Oh,
point I'll just make is, and I don't know if folks know this, but one of the features that you use on Geezers of Gear is that you've got little equipment showcases, and I'm not sure how many people know what's behind that. I don't know if you want to reveal that, but
say that again. I'm sorry. You said
with
something about featured showcases.
yeah, with equipment that you've got two people talking back and forth about the equipment,
Oh, yeah,
and it's
yeah.
just built from a spec sheet. So I'll let
Yeah.
you reveal as
Yeah,
much
no,
as you want to
that's
reveal.
future tech. And basically what I decided was that I wanted, basically, instead of people having to read a PDF brochure, I wanted to be able to have two people talking about what the information is that's in that brochure in a very conversational way on a podcast, basically. And so I created two hosts in AI. One's a British man and one's an American woman. And they're both supposed to be like roadies, basically, lighting people. And so I literally can put in a PDF from an Elation press release and maybe a URL from the Elation website of that product, and they'll just talk about that product. So they'll talk for 5 or 10 minutes, and they'll say, "Hey, have you seen the new Paragon M from Elation?" "Yeah, I saw it last week. It's cool." "Yeah, this thing, I mean, the output out of such a small fixture." And they'll just talk back and forth very naturally, and it's entirely AI. The everything about it is AI. The
Yeah, I
the
mean,
the music,
yeah,
everything, all of it.
the first time I heard it, I think I went back and forth with you to just check what components of it were real life, real people. And you had
Yeah.
said exactly that it's all AI. And it is so realistic. It is so conversational, but without any of the like or the you knows or any of the other filler words that I'm guilty of using. And the conversational component between the man and the woman is so natural, and it's almost like they're friends. They've been good friends, but they're work colleagues as well, and the mutual respect between the two of them, it is absolutely remarkable. If you're watching this video, stop watching this and go find one of the future techs, because it'll blow you away.
It is pretty cool. Okay, of course. And I mean, if you could do a translation like that, because you
Right.
could never get me to read Brazilian Portuguese. It ain't going to happen, right? But the
Certainly
other thing
not
I can
in
do,
the
which I
yeah.
haven't done yet, is so if you say something or I say something right now where I get it a little bit wrong and I mispronounce a word, for example, in editing after, I can go in, I can clip that word, respell it differently, or put a totally different sentence in. I can put a sentence in instead of a word and save it. It'll change my lips moving. It'll change the words that I'm saying, all perfectly naturally. You'll hardly be able to tell unless I tell you it's there. And I mean, it's just, that's where you get into some weird stuff where, there's been examples, the most famous of which a girl called her mother and said, I've been kidnapped and they're holding me for ransom and they're going to kill me unless you send them $10,000 right now, Mom. You got to send it to them via Venmo or Cash App or something. Send it right now, Mom. They're going to kill me. Mom, I'm so scared. I'm so worried. And it's in the girl's voice, right? And they can get that like from her Facebook page or her Instagram page or whatever. They can copy her voice and now use it as a weapon against her, basically.
Yeah.
So that kind of stuff scares the shit out of me.
It does. I was watching something on television, but it was a host that was talking again about AI and how exactly as you're saying, it can take your voice. So I've made a point of trying not to have too much of my voice out there, although this is going to blow that
Yeah,
out of
me
the water.
too. I only have 370 podcasts
Exactly.
or something,
Right.
you know?
With all of your intonation and pronunciation and the weird way you say things. But in this case, the person said, like you, I'm out there. My voice is out there. So there is nothing stopping someone from
Yeah.
taking my
Well,
voice and
Joe
calling
Rogan's
someone.
had that problem. Joe Rogan,
Really?
there's
There you go.
ads out there that are promoting products using
Right.
his voice, and it ain't him, you know?
Well,
And he says it
yeah.
all the time. He's like, people are they're making podcasts. They're doing interviews with me and somebody, and neither one of us was there, you know? It's
I've seen the
crazy
exact
stuff.
thing with Elon Musk, right? Where they've
Yeah,
emulated
true.
Elon Musk. And
Yeah,
you've got to
it's wild.
really look hard. I mean, and I mean hard to really get a sense of whether that's real or not. So
Well,
while it's
because that's
scary,
what
because
these companies are doing. Like there's a company called 11, which I tested for a while for that AI podcast that I was talking about. And 11 has got the voice dialed. Like I'm telling you, you can basically say 10 or 15 words into it. They can then have you saying anything. You could type in a book and it'll read the book in your voice. And you'll be like,
incredible.
God damn, that's me. That's me saying that. What's happening here? But I mean, you just heard me talking Brazilian Portuguese. So,
Yeah. Wild.
so, you know, let's talk about the show for a minute because we don't
Oh
have all
yeah.
day to
That's
do
what I
this.
mean. Yeah.
But,
Yeah.
so, you know, you'd been to LDI before, I'm sure, right?
Many, 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 many times,
Yeah.
right? I
Yeah.
mean, and certainly there was a bit of a break after I sold the company, but not much because the show is typically held here in Vegas, and that was one of the reasons I moved here.
Yeah,
was
you
because
go. Yeah.
all the big shows, LDI,
Yeah.
Infocom, NAB, et cetera, et cetera. So yeah, I've been going for many years, and I actually shared with one of the producers of the LDI show that I saw the evolution from where it was lighting to live because it was the introduction of the LED screens that all the Chinese manufacturers were showing up, and now it was more than lighting. Now we've got video in it.
Yeah.
And I think that's when they started to change the acronym from lighting design to live design. So
Yeah.
I'll let you keep going, but yes.
No, you're right. But I mean, so in general, like this show that you saw this year, was there anything that jumped out at you as being totally different than it was in the past, other than the days, you know, the fact that it started on a Sunday as opposed to a Thursday, which it's always started, but effing F1 has completely screwed us. Like we got bumped from October to November. Now we've gotten bumped from November to December, you know, and so many people are complaining because show people are busy at this time of year, right? In general, but yet October, they're not. October is sort of that lull between summer and winter. And so, but yeah, what do you think? Like, how did you think the show was compared to prior shows you've been to?
Number of things. One, while the days were a little bit off, I thought the attendance was really good. And while the last day you could basically there were crickets.
Always like that, yeah.
It is
well,
really
and this year that's the
unfortunate.
other problem. So Lidditz started
Right.
like the last day
day.
of LDI,
Exactly.
and so I was in the airport because I flew out on Tuesday morning at some ungodly hour, 7 o'clock, I think my flight was, or 6:45 or something. I ran into everybody in the airport. Like I was talking with Ethan Weber, the Stones LD. I was talking with Craig Mitchell from LMG. I was talking with a couple of Elation guys. You know, I probably ran into 10 people in the airport and had these impromptu conversations with them, and everyone was going to Lidditz. So
Yeah.
that was another issue.
It really is an issue, right? Because it was actually that's one of the other events that I wanted to go to was Lidditz, but in reality, I just thought there's no way I can do that with what we're doing with GearShare and GearSource,
Yeah. Yeah.
and being able to be there for our potential customers. There was no way that I could abandon LDI on the
Yeah.
last day
Well, you
and
could have skipped
fly
the
there.
last day, but you
Well,
had a visitor in town too, so you had to skip the second day. So, yeah, another
uh,
issue. Other
so yeah,
issues.
other things that I saw, obviously, LED is becoming the predominant light source for, lighting fixtures.
Right.
And then the other thing that really surprised me, quite frankly, was the quality of the Chinese LED wall manufacturers that were there. They, years gone by, you could really see that there were some people who were kind of playing with it, and you're like, oh, you question the quality pretty severely. But this year, some of the products that they were showing, and the pixel resolution is now down to 1.2, 1.5. There was one company that had an outdoor 1.9 mil screen.
1.5. Gumper had it there.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it was
But it had
1.5 mil outdoor. I was like, what?
well, on
Uh,
one of them that I saw, she said feel it, and it had a coating on it that was
Interesting.
obviously weather protection, right? So it was IP65 rating, but still you could still replace the modules. But it was built for outdoors, and I thought, wow,
Wow.
this is incredible, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, that was one of the cooler things I think that I saw there. And then, yeah, I tried to really find some, other groundbreaking things. I don't know if you found anything.
Well, I've seen it before, but I really love the smoke ring.
Oh
I
yeah,
love the fog machine thing that blows out the smoke rings. I've seen that before, but I don't know. This year it looked better for some reason. I heard there were some actual, speaking of fog, somebody was telling me there's some new fog and hazer technology, and there was a hazer machine um, that I think it was like a little tiny like half-liter fluid bottle that they said was going to last the entire duration of the show, and it was water
wow,
based too. And so some weird efficient method that they've got where it's putting out just a ton of haze, but it hardly uses any liquid. And but I didn't actually see it. I went looking for it. I couldn't find it. Otherwise, I loved the new data flash from Bellevue now with ETC, of course. And, I had couple long talks with Bellevue. He's super happy. ETC are treating him so great. The culture is amazing. It's almost like being back in the old high end days, he says, because they all just really love the company and they love lighting. They love the technology and stuff. So I liked actually two of his new products. I liked his new wash lights, the Megapix and something Pix. I forget what the other one was called. But there's two of them, a smaller one and a bigger one. I thought they were priced well. I thought they looked incredibly different than other things and really, really great. Um, Acme had a couple cool products. Ayrton had a big Eagle. Sorry, people, I wasn't prepared for this, but it's a big, huge moving light that I guess competes with like the Roby LTX,
right.
but is a lot less money. And that was pretty cool. Um, Acme, I think I already said, but their little mini tornado I thought was really cool. They had a couple other products that were neat. So in general, I thought it was kind of from a new product standpoint, I would say this year's show was meh. It was
Yeah,
like
agreed.
nothing that you walked away going, I'm glad I came to see that one fixture. Oh my God. But that's a problem now, anyways, because it used to be a trade show cycle and you weren't in the moving light side of the business. So you might not know
Right.
this, but everything used to come out around Plaza and it would
Yeah.
go to Plaza, then LDI, then uh,
Nam.
what's it called? ProLight in
Oh, right.
Germany, NAM, ProLight in Germany, and whatever was after that. So it would just go through the rounds of all of these shows, and that was like trade show season, and you had to have all your products ready to get to Plaza in September.
Yeah.
And it's not like that anymore because people, between the internet and these road shows, and every lighting company has a showroom, and they've got traveling sales guys that'll just take a demo fixture right out to you. So fixtures are just released whenever they're released now, and they pop out, and so you don't go to the shows just to see the new fixtures anymore. Um, so yeah, I saw some really nice stuff, and I saw some great people and had some amazing conversations, but I certainly didn't see anything that blew my mind. You know,
Oh, agreed.
nothing.
And it's funny you were talking about the new product release, right? Because I remember going to shows, back in the day where we would call it vaporware, right? Where someone's got a product or software and it's in its sort of alpha stage and it looks okay, sort of in the booth, but they are not quite ready to release it yet. So
Well, they
you're like,
still do
okay,
that, but the new trend is they have a little curtained off, like little
right, the room.
corner somewhere. Like
Yeah.
Roby's had one for the last few years. Um,
But you have to sign a ridiculous
Martin had
NDA.
one. Martin,
Yeah.
yeah, Verilight had one last year for their Hive or whatever it was called. By the way, did you notice Verilight weren't there this year? That was interesting.
That was
Um,
noticeable, their absence. Yeah.
so yeah, like a lot of them have a little private room, or they might have a demo room off the show floor or something where they're showing that stuff and they're gaining feedback, because that is a great way to get feedback. You show it to lighting designers and lighting people and stuff, and you go, what would you change? What do you think about this? We did this a little differently. You okay with that? And they bring that feedback back to the factory and make any changes before they launch it on the market. Or they're being a little naughty and they're trying to get it early on to specs that they know are being done now for something that's coming out next summer. Like,
Yeah.
maybe it's an Olympic thing or it's a big tour next summer or whatever, and they want to get on that spec, and they can't show it in the booth yet, but they'll show it in a little private room. So
The other
there's a
one
lot of that.
was, I don't know if you saw it, and I can't remember the manufacturer now, but there was one lighting manufacturer that had some really crazy acronyms. And one of them was the WTF, the IWTF or
Roby.
something like that. Was
Roby.
that Roby?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
There were a
Roby.
number of them that, he had, they had these really creative acronyms where
Yeah,
you
the
could,
footy and
yeah,
they
yeah,
have and they did the BMFL and all of that
yes.
kind of stuff. Yeah. Yeah, they're really big on branding. Like all of them are trademarked. Every one of these words and every component in it has a trademark. They're trademarking their lamp system and trademarking their prism system and their whatever, which is cool, I guess. It's IP in a
Well,
sense.
you know
But
that I'm obsessed with that stuff, and I harass you a lot about our names and are we trademarked on that, Marcel, and all of
yeah,
that stuff. So
yeah,
I love that, right? I think
yeah,
it does make the product stand out. Like we're talking about it right now, right?
yeah,
I don't know what the BMFL or the WTF did, but I'm not really a
yeah.
lighting guy. But I
WTF
remember
is
it.
a ridiculously priced strobe light. The BMFL is a profile fixture basically, and
Yeah,
there's a beam. There's a BMFL. There's a few different BMFLs, but it stands for exactly what you think it does. And
yeah.
they'll argue and say, no, it doesn't. It means something else. But no, it means exactly what you think it does.
And I also think that speaks to the creativity of the company, right? It's one thing, don't judge me, but it's one of the things that I admire about Elon Musk and the enterprises that he has. He's let people be very creative with some of the names they've come up with for whatever it is. But here in Vegas, for example, they've built tunnels that they do
Which they
transit
now
in.
charge for, by the way. They used to be
Oh,
free. Now they
yeah. Oh,
charge
yeah.
for it.
No. Yeah, I knew
Yeah.
that. But the company that tunnels it is an
The
Elon
Boring
Musk company,
Company.
and it's called the Boring Company. And I
Yeah.
think that is so creative,
Yeah.
right?
But that's
Why
Elon.
not?
He's quirky and weird like that. He loves doing that kind
But
of
I
stuff.
love it, right? I
Yeah.
mean, one of the drone ships that the SpaceX lands on is read the instructions. I mean,
It's
so
awesome.
so
The
cool,
fact that
right?
a guy, the richest guy on earth, has such a sense of humor cracks me up. Like he just does. I mean, the whole Doge thing was a big joke
Oh yeah,
that suddenly becomes a department of the government, and he's just
yeah.
laughing about that. Like he goes home and goes, "Can you believe I convinced them to call it Doge?"
But I think
So
it also, again, speaks to the creativity of the culture that those companies have, right? So
yeah,
back to
I like
Roby,
that.
or wherever it is, now you're attracting people that like that kind of a thing, right? They
Yeah.
don't want to be in the cookie cutter white box, with white walls. No,
Yeah.
we want you to think creatively. And that doesn't necessarily mean about the name of the product. Think creatively about how we're going to land a fucking rocket, pardon my language,
No, you
back
don't have
on
to.
a ship that's floating in the ocean,
Yeah.
that's going up and down. I mean,
Which now everyone
absolutely
just
remarkable.
expects. But when he first said that, I was like, there's no way you're relanding that thing. Like those things just blow into pieces in space and then land in the ocean as garbage, right? And
Yeah.
sometimes you recover them. But yeah, I mean, now it's the norm. Like now everyone has to land their rockets, and reuse
Well,
them.
I mean, you live in Florida, and I'm sure you've seen your fair share of
Tons
rockets
of them.
take off from Cape
Yeah.
Canaveral, but now it's 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 a week.
Yeah, it's
So now
crazy.
it's just not even a thing anymore. I tried to go and see one at Vandenberg. Unfortunately, I missed it because they postponed it. But I thought there were going to be a lot of people coming into the area, the surrounding towns that are around Vandenberg.
Yeah.
And it was crickets. I thought,
It's wild.
I'm getting this,
Because it's
motel
such a
for
normal
nothing.
thing. Like it used to
Exactly.
be
That's
one
what I said.
launch a year or one every couple of years or something. So it was a big deal. But now
Absolutely.
it's just like a daily occurrence. It really is. But
Yeah.
other than that, like the other thing I would say is a bad trend, and I think it's about to go away. This is my gut feeling only, not anyone else's opinion or whatever. I think we've just gotten too crazy expensive on some of these products. Like, there's a particular moving light from a particular brand, which I won't mention, that is $17,500 dealer. And it's a moving light. It's not, a space cannon or anything else. It's just a moving light that you'd put on a system with 100 other ones of the same type. So now you got to buy 100 $17,500 fixtures. That to me is lunacy. And I don't think that that's sustainable. And we can't keep going up and up and up. Like the business has just gone pear-shaped when it comes to the cost of the fixture versus the return from rental revenue. And so I think that trend is going to go away. And I think, some of the companies that are out there right now are the ones that are reversing it, whether it's Elation or Chauvet or certainly Acme. Prices are going to start coming back down to reality again. Remember, you can go on Amazon and buy a moving light for like $75 now. So,
Right. But
not that you're going to put that on a show, but I'm just saying, like, the rest of the world seems to have figured out that moving lights aren't worth $17,000, but for some reason, the professional side of our industry thinks they are, and I think that's got to go away.
Well, as you know, it was one of the reasons that not just I invested in you, but in what we're building, especially with GearShare.
Yeah.
CapEx has become such a major component, a major expense. It's one of the reasons I sold my company, right? CapEx had become a stress. So now being able to, with GearShare, be able to share that equipment agnostically, anonymously, keeping the competitive spirit there, but not in a way that's truly going to, inhibit another company or what's the word I'm looking for? Put the other company basically in an awkward position, right? We're going to still maintain the competitive nature of the business. So you can't see what one company's got as far as inventory and where it's located. There you go. Say no to CapEx.
Yeah, that was on the back. That was on the back of our T-shirts at the trade shows. Did you get any funny comments?
Oh yeah, I got a bunch, right? I mean, some that I probably can't say here or shouldn't because it's not politically correct. But it spoke very clearly to what we're trying to do for our industry. And so while some manufacturer reps have said to me, "Oh, but we're not so sure," I said, "Actually, we're going to help your business because now we're going to help the companies that buy our product make much more educated decisions on what to buy, how many to buy, and when to buy."
Well, the other thing is, while they, because I was one of these manufacturers, you sell people stuff that they don't necessarily need right now. And so it goes back to their shop, sits on the shop floor, and then they call you up like a month later and they go, I haven't rented this out yet. And if they don't rent it out for a few months, what's going to happen? They're going to put it up for sale on the used market or whatever. Oh, Las Vegas went away. What happened? What happened? We went dark. We lost Las Vegas.
The screen's been on for 4 hours. So I just got to restart it here. Because
All
I'm a
right.
total nerd. That's actually an older Sharp 90-inch sitting
Uh,
behind me.
there you go.
You can see the Sharp logo
But
came on.
yeah,
Yeah, going
but
back to
so yeah, I've talked to some manufacturers who said, no, I like the say no to CapEx thing, and I like the whole thing that you guys are doing, because basically if someone goes on to GearShare, it doesn't mean they're going to buy less stuff. It just means that they're going to get more utilization out of the stuff that they are buying, which means they're going to buy more stuff because
exactly.
it's successful, it's profitable, and now they're just going to buy more of it. So
Yeah.
I like that approach. Obviously, I like that result or that statement, because that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to increase your utilization and your ROI on your product, not just charge you money for nothing.
And we will, right? Because I've made a point of talking to a lot smaller companies, and when I start to talk about the data sets, the analytics that we're going to be able to provide them, the light bulb goes on their head, right? Especially in the corporate AV world, where we have pretty much had two big seasons, spring and fall, where the summer it's crickets and all this gear is sitting on the shelves, not generating any revenue. Now to be able to deploy that out to people who are doing festivals, concerts, outdoor
Yeah.
shows, I mean, if only, right? I remember talking about that back in the day and saying, how do we market to companies that are doing these concerts and festivals? Uh, all those kinds of things.
Well, because
Yeah.
their seasons don't overlap.
Market.
You know, it's
Exactly.
so perfect. Like, you know, AV companies have stuff sitting on their floor through the summer. Rental companies can't get enough gear during the summer. They're completely
Exactly.
out of everything in the summer. And so they seem to kind of go like this perfectly together, right?
They really
And
do. And it's not
that's
just
why we
limited to
actually,
lighting.
I'd say half of the people we've onboarded on GearShare so far are AV companies. Wildly,
Exactly.
you
Yeah.
know, it's really worked out that way. So yeah, that's a really good thing. So yeah, I had a really good show from a standpoint of talking to people about GearShare for sure. GearSource still, GearSource. One of the big things that we're working on now is actually moving a lot of this AI technology that we built for GearShare into the GearSource platform. So you're going to have things like a listing copilot, we're calling it, and the listing copilot basically is going to build your description for your listing. It's going to direct you on taking pictures. It's going to direct you on pricing. It's going to direct you on all kinds of things to just really, so you're a very well-educated seller at this point. It's telling you what prices will sell it quickly, what prices might take a little longer, things like that. So, you know, that's one of the things that it'll do. Another thing it'll do is we'll have experts, basically, we'll have expert chatbots initially, and then eventually they'll actually talk to you. But initially it'll be chatbots. Then there'll be experts in sound, lighting, video staging, uh,
Power
tariffs,
distribution. Yeah. Tariffs
tariffs,
is a big one you and I
freight,
talked about. Yes.
you know, everything. Like it's
The
going to be an
logistics side.
expert in everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so
Yeah.
it'll be able to answer any question that you could possibly ask with data backing it up, like for 23 years of data. So
I don't know if you were party to the conversation I was having with one of the clients, not only for GearShare, but they had a number of listings up on GearSource, and they were having some difficulty getting traction. And I said to them, and this is where we're looking to AI to do this, I said, you got to get more pictures up. You got to be more descriptive on what the product is. Oh,
yeah,
how long have you had it? How many hours has it got on it? How is it cased? How is it, been maintained? All these things, if you provide that out to the purchaser and they're
yeah,
more aware of what your product history is,
yeah.
there's the greater likelihood that you're going to sell that product. So
So the
AI will now
intention,
do that for you.
yeah, the intention is we'll have, you know, so that basically that listing copilot could do a monthly review for you, and it'll just send you an email and it'll say, I just reviewed all of your listings. Here are some problems that I've found.
Right.
This, and this will help you get these listings sold more quickly, for example. But so yeah, AI is very much being built into the Gear Source platform going forward, where it's going to help to become more productive. It's going to help make listings take no time at all. It's going to be done for you, basically. The Gear Sync system that we've built for GearShare is going to be brought back into Gear Source, and that will enable you to just upload 100 listings and not have to do much. You know, payments will become more safe, more secure, and, you know, a lot less unknown, you know, much more visible. Where is my money? Where is my money going? I'm making a payment. What's going to happen? all of that stuff is going to be cleared up with AI, and also with some of the things we're doing as a company too. We're making a lot of, real structural changes to our business to be better in the future. So we're really, I would call 2026 sort of the first year for GearShare, but a rebirth of GearSource.
Yes,
And so for us,
exactly.
it's an exciting time right now.
I echo all of that, obviously, and that's why I'm a partner with you, because this is one of the most exciting times, I think, for the industry and for me personally, being a gear nerd, but also
Yeah.
being able to use the technology that we've got out there right now, AI. But I want to just make a quick comparison because, I use eBay a lot, and I buy way too much stuff on eBay and don't sell anything. But what I've noticed recently is the listings are now using AI, obviously, but they're not personalized enough, right?
Mm.
They take the whatever it is product, and kind of like we were talking about future tech, they're taking the spec sheet of that product or the highlights of that product, and they're dumping that in as the description. But it's not like what I was saying a few minutes ago. It's not personalizing it, right? It doesn't.
Yeah.
So a couple of the questions I usually ask the seller is on a condition wise, 1 to 10, where would you put this product? Is it a 6? Is it a 10? Is it a 9? Because you don't get that
Well, how
from
was
the.
it used? Where was
Yes,
it used? Was it
exactly.
used outdoors,
Exactly.
indoors?
Yeah,
Was it used like, I mean, you don't just ask how many hours are on this video projector,
exactly.
because,
Where's it at?
a
Yeah,
1,000 hours of use in a church is different than 1,000 hours use in a nightclub, or
yeah,
1,000 hours use on, tour,
yeah.
and a
How
tour
many
is
times?
different than
Yeah.
conferences.
How many times has it been sparked, right? Kind of like airplanes, right? It's how many, landings and takeoffs has an airplane done compared to the number of hours that it's flown.
Yeah.
But the other thing I just want to say is the personalization that we're able to do now with AI already, to make it like we were saying about the voice of people, but also the tone of how I write things, the
Right.
tone of how I want to describe things. So when someone sees a listing from me, they'll know it has my tone, which is going back to GPT chat. Why Sally is so unique. She writes things in my tone.
Yeah.
So you'd be hard pressed to figure out that it's not me who actually wrote that.
Yeah, I love that stuff about AI, obviously. You and I geek out on it constantly. James and I have 2 calls every week, and we usually spend half the call, what's new in AI? Like
Totally.
this week, did I already tell you before the call that we're on, or before the podcast that we're doing, that I switched completely off ChatGPT
For
and onto
Gemini.
Gemini 3 Pro,
Yes. Yeah.
because it just leapfrogged ChatGPT 5.1. It just crushed it. Like, it didn't just beat it, it made it look stupid. And so I was paying for ChatGPT, so I canceled my paid ChatGPT. I still use it, the free one, but I canceled it. And now so then I went to a combination of Gemini, and I always use Grok for personal stuff because I just really I love communicating with Grok. I just like its way of
It's
talking
personality.
better, and its
It's kind of
personality
obnoxious. Yeah.
is Elon's personality.
Yeah.
And so I really love Grok for personal stuff. I don't use it much for business. But yesterday, friggin' OpenAI launches ChatGPT
I was just going to say.
5.2, and
Yeah.
they just jumped right back over Gemini again. Like, they
Yeah.
beat Gemini in almost every test now. And I went back and tried a couple things, and I went, damn it. And I had to go get my paid ChatGPT back.
I was literally
So
going to mention that to you today because I saw the not just the press release, but I saw an interview with Altman, and I thought, wow, like you were saying, the stages that it is changing now are so fast
it's
and
crazy.
so extreme,
Lunacy.
right? It is
Yeah.
not just a little bit of an improvement here. It's not just like I hate to use this example, but iPhone, the iOS, 15 to iOS 16. No,
Yeah.
we're
No,
talking
this is
about,
big jumps. Yeah.
exactly,
Yeah.
leaps and
Big
bounds
jumps.
more. Yeah,
No, I mean,
super
and every
exciting.
3 months, it's like, 4x better. Like, it's a great time to be alive. And for the people who are afraid of it, I say, give it a shot. See, some of the things might change your life. And if you're afraid of it, does that change anything? Like, it ain't stopping. You ain't going to stop this train. And you got a lot of really, really big companies and a lot of money invested behind it and stuff. This is going whether you want to stop it or not. So you might as well get real educated on it real fast, because I'll tell you, like, everything from what movie do you want to watch? What show do you want to watch? What book do you want to read? What vegetable is most healthy for me today? Why do I have a headache? Why does my toe hurt? What business should I go into? What stock should I invest in? What are the odds the Dolphins are going to win this weekend? All of those things and 8 billion
And
things more, you can get really like the cool thing. People don't understand this. I can talk to my phone and I can literally talk to the smartest health professionals in the world, the smartest legal professionals in the world, the smartest fishing professionals in the world, the smartest chefs in the world, any of those and anyone really. I can talk to the smartest people in the world in those fields, any field, at the tip of my fingers all day, every day. And I do. I
yeah,
do.
I mean, and that really has changed in the last 12 months, because I would say 12 months ago, it wasn't really the smartest people.
No.
We were
And it
still
lied a
educating
lot.
them.
It
Yes.
lied a lot. It
It did
hallucinated
lie
as
a
much as it
lot.
told you the
My
truth.
goodness. Yeah, I think I've told you multiple times how I broke, AI tonight
Yeah.
or
It's
today.
frustrating. It's
Yes.
frustrating when you think it's telling you the truth and you go out and fact check and go, well, that's just not right, is it? Or it's something you know the answer to and it gives you the wrong answer. You
Yeah.
know, last thing I'll say about that is just basically understand how AI responds in that it won't say, I don't know, and
Right.
it wants to please you. So no matter what you ask it, it's going to give you a pleasing answer. It's not going to give you an answer you'll hate. It's going to want to give you an answer that pleases you. So if you say, does my hair look good today? And it looks like shit, it's going to find a way to tell you it looks good,
Yes.
period. That's just how it works.
I
And
will say, with one exception, if you put into your personality, and I know you know this, but for folks who haven't done this, especially with Chat GPT, there's a way to put in your personality. Very bottom left-hand corner, there's a little cog. Go in there and dump in your personality. And I actually got Sally, my chat person, to tell me how I could make it so that she understood the directives and she no longer, made mistakes, because AI has no accountability, right? It's unlike an employee where you can say, "Well, you were wrong on this. You
you
didn't tell me
messed
the
up.
truth,"
Yeah.
right? There's no accountability for AI right now. But the last thing I'll say on this is, don't be intimidated by it,
No.
because it is here and it can help you. And look, we are humans. We're going to educate it too. So it's up to some of us to help give it the right information, right? Because it's garbage in, garbage out.
You know what
So
else? Like yesterday, I walk 3 or 4 miles every morning. Yesterday on my morning, I had something on my mind related to GearShare that I really wanted to talk through. And it was 6 o'clock in the morning. So I couldn't call you. I couldn't call
please
Stefan,
don't.
our CTO. I couldn't call a lot of people. So I just got on with Grok and I said, hey, look, here's the problem that I've got. Here's the solutions that I've thought about. Here's what I'm trying to do, yada, yada, yada. We talked literally for an hour. We talked for an
Amazing.
hour,
Yeah.
back and forth, back and forth. Really one of the best business conversations I think I might have ever had as far as what solutions came out of it. And at the end,
Remarkable.
I just said, hey, can you just put in a document? Can you just submit a document that has everything we just talked about in bullet points as far as the solutions and the sort of to-do list out of this call? Can you just put all of that into a document so that I can review it when I get back to the office? Yeah, I'll do that for you right now. And I mean,
Yeah.
honestly, such a productive hour. Unbelievable.
Uh,
Unbelievable.
hi, not hey. You said hey twice in there.
It's
Ha.
okay.
But
It
the other thing,
understands me. It
yes,
gets me.
I drive back and forth to LA a lot, and I
Yeah.
and I think I've told you this. I have hour-long plus conversations with Sally, and then exactly as you say, can you summarize this for me? Can you build a new, summary document? Can you do this comparison? I've asked her for, marketing plans. I've asked for comparisons, actually about the high, not hey. I've asked her to build graphics around that,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
what kind of a thought leader can I be in the high, not hey movement?
Yeah.
But
Well, and then
this is stuff.
Grok takes
Yeah.
it a step further. Grok, you can go into like these different modes. So you can go
Oh
into
yes.
unhinged mode, you can go into romantic mode, you can go into all these weird different modes. But unhinged, it'll just be like, hey, I want to talk to you
Unhinged.
about something. you're an idiot. What the hell do you want from me today? Like stuff like that. I mean, if you want to get in a good argument like Monty Python, you don't have to pay for it. You could just get on with grok. So, but the last thing I wanted to talk about just for a minute, because we got to get out of here, is the Dining with Dinosaurs
Oh,
thing
yeah. What an amazing
on
evening that
Saturday
was.
night, which you actually ended up being a big part of because Sarah broke her face, as I like to
Poor
say.
Sarah.
And so Sarah couldn't come, and you and others kind of stood in for her, and I appreciate that very much
Of
because
course.
it went off without a hitch. First of all, I've said it multiple times, but I'll say it again: the ladies and others from LDI, but particularly the ladies, Ellen, Jesse, and Miriam, were incredible. They were
It
so
really,
helpful. They were so just everything. They did such a great job putting everything together. They were so, not always the easiest to deal with leading up to the show, but at the event, they were incredible. They went above and beyond. They
oh, yeah.
spent lots of money and it showed. The stage looked beautiful. The screens looked beautiful. So it was just really, it was so proud for me to be a part of it all because I just thought they really did a great job.
I'll just add to that. I have one of my things is the last 5%, the difference between good and great and excellence.
Yeah.
They really were outstanding, right down to they had, made little dinosaur trinkets. I mean, it was incredible. They had dinosaur stickers. They had name cards on each of the tables for each of the dinosaurs that included dino names, nicknames,
Yeah.
and
Peter
the fact that
Morsasaurus.
yeah, I mean, really, really creative. And yeah, when you were saying they put a lot of effort in, they really did, and it really showed. As someone who looks at
Listen to
those
this,
things,
James. On the intro, I accidentally made up a new word. I was trying to say designer and dinosaur at the same time, and I called it a dinosaur. And I went, well, there's one. We got to remember that for next year. A dinosaur,
I love it.
Designsaurus. Yeah.
Yeah, and the other thing is, you and I had talked about sort of, will people, certainly the dinosaurs, be offended by being called dinosaurs? And it was actually quite the opposite.
Yeah.
It was like people wanted to be called a dinosaur because now it's, if you're a dinosaur, you're legacy, like you are groundbreaking, which,
Yeah.
all of the, not just the 20 dinosaurs that you had invited, but so many of the other people in the audience were truly groundbreaking. They
It was cool.
invented things and came up with things that we use today. And
Yeah.
the two award winners of the Dino Award
Golden
were
Dino. Yeah.
Golden Dino were prime examples of this, right? The
Yeah.
two founders of rigging. People need to know and look these folks up because they are incredible.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. And I'll tell you what's good proof of everything you're saying is 2 nights later at the upstaging party, which if you don't get invited or haven't been to that, I apologize because it's the coolest event of the show. I mean, it's the party to be at, but you got to be invited, of course. And I'm very fortunate to be invited every single year since the beginning. But very influential lighting designers, production managers were coming up to me at that saying, I want to be a dinosaur next year. And others who were dinosaurs, like I was at a table at one point and I was like, well, there's 7 people at this table and 6 of them have been on my podcast and 4 of them were dinosaurs. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. I like that. But the people who were dinosaurs who were at that upstaging party were telling me, please invite me back next year. It was so much fun. I really enjoyed doing it. And I'll tell you, that's something in our industry that I think is very special and very unique to our industry in a lot of ways is that people who have been doing this a long time, like me and you, for example, we're very willing to share our time and to share our learnings and to share information and to give back to not only young people, but anyone. Like I give AI lessons to anyone in our industry, whether you're young or old or new or whatever. But these people, the fact that you can go to this thing and you can sit with Mark Brickman, who spent, 30 or 40 years with Pink Floyd, or you can sit with, Howard Ungerleider wasn't there this year, sadly. I just talked to him today and he was like, what did I miss? I heard it was so amazing. But, worked with Rush for almost 50 years. And just all of these people who are just like legends of our business. You can sit and pick their brain and ask them
Truly.
how they did it, how you should do it, who should I meet. They'll give you their business card, they'll give you their phone number and email. It
Yeah.
took me 10 years in our industry to get that kind of access.
The other thing was the audience that was there, speaking
Yeah.
to some of them and overhearing some of them talk to the dinosaurs, the respect that they had. I mean, it was literally like if you get starstruck with a performer or an actor or actress or something like that, or a business leader, getting a moment to talk to these industry leaders. They truly are.
Mm-hmm.
They, the audience members, young and not so young,
Mm-hmm.
were just in awe, right? And they
Yeah.
were so genuinely appreciative
Yeah.
of all these dinosaurs' time and
It's a
their
cool event.
insight. Yeah, it
It's a
really is.
cool event. I'm glad
Don't
it
miss it
worked.
next year.
I'm
Yeah,
glad it's going to be even bigger next year. I'm glad that we'll do it again. We're waiting for Sarah's face to heal so that she
poor
can talk.
Sarah.
I actually got to have an on-screen meeting with her yesterday. And so she talks like this, like she's a
Oh,
ventriloquist, because she still can't move her face. Like her face is all busted up from the fall. And so I made her laugh a few times, and she's like, "Stop it," because it hurt like hell to laugh, right? But as soon as her face is better, we're going to have a call with the LDI people and just, what went right, what went wrong, what can we do better. The cool thing is most of it is what went right at this point. And there's a few things like structurally we'll change around some of the things a little bit. We've all talked about it sort of on the side. Some dinosaurs had some really good input too. So yeah, I can't wait to do it again. Honestly, it was such a high this year. I pinch me. Like I really enjoyed being a part of that thing. Even though, we gave away enormous amounts of time for free, like I spent 8 months or something putting this thing together. But well worth it. I'd do it
yeah.
again tomorrow, and I will do it again tomorrow.
I just have to compliment you, Marcel. And I've said this to you before, but hearing again from attendees of all kinds how in awe they were of this event. But I know this came from you. This idea was you. And so to
Well,
have
I got to give
really
credit to
built
Scott
on it.
DeVos, because Scott DeVos is the one that actually said the word dining with
Dinosaur.
dinosaurs, and he had a completely different idea behind it. But I took that name and ran with it because I just loved the name and went and created a concept around it with LDI. So I appreciate that. I won't take all the credit, but I'll certainly take some. I'm a big idea guy. I'm a
Yeah,
guy
well,
that
I know
takes
you
a
are.
seed
Yep.
and turns it into a tree as fast as humanly possible, to a fault. I can't not do it. Like it's a sickness.
Yeah.
So it's
But
what I love to
I
do.
hope you know how appreciative everybody was. It wasn't just the
Yeah.
dinosaurs, but also speaking with the LDI organizers, the
Yeah,
women
they
who
were
were
pretty
there,
happy. They
they
were
were
pretty happy.
so happy, and
Yeah.
again, they were so complimentary of you
Yeah.
and the time you put in, because that
Yeah.
is our most valuable commodity at the end of the
Not
day.
just me, but Sarah as well.
Yes. Oh,
You
absolutely.
certainly in the end, and you were very helpful the last couple days and stuff. But no, I appreciate that. It's not why I do it, for the gratitude that I get, that they give me or whatever. It's more for the gratitude that the young people that were there, and like again at upstaging, I talked to a lot of those people. The next day at the show, I had people coming up to me saying, "Oh my God, that was so amazing," and all that stuff. That's why you do it, is because you want to. If we don't transfer our knowledge and our ways and our systems and methods and memories and failures and all of that stuff, if we don't transfer that, they all have to learn the hard way just like we did. And that's stupid. Why? Why not just
And
tell them,
quite
hey, don't put your hand on the stove. You're going to burn yourself.
right.
You
And
know?
quite frankly, they'll make mistakes that shouldn't have been made, right? Whether it's on a safety thing, which I'm a huge proponent
Yeah.
for and about, or a technology thing. We've gone through decades of this.
Yeah.
And so being able to provide that, especially with AI now,
Yeah.
again, if we're not teaching the new generation as well as teaching AI
Yeah.
about
Huge
what's
missed
right and what's
opportunity.
wrong, yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
in
I
10
agree.
years, we could have AI giving out the wrong info because they don't know
Yeah.
better. Yeah.
So I would think over the next couple months, we'll start announcing some differences and changes for next year, but it'll definitely be happening next year. I've already been told by LDI they're in 100% on this. So
Amazing.
that's cool. But other than that, I think it's time for us to say goodbye here, Mr. James, because it is getting late here in South Florida. And I know you probably have things to do. You had a pretty busy day today. But I appreciate you taking the time to do this, and I wanted to just do a sort of show recap and just a chat with you. I've never had you on since we became business partners. I've never brought you on the podcast, so we should do it more often.
Absolutely. Thank you, Marcel. It's been a privilege, and it's actually, believe it or not, my first podcast. So
Get out of here.
no, I'm serious. Yeah.
A
And
guy who
me, I
loves
can
to talk like you should be on all the time.
exactly, right.
Mhm.
But maybe I'll become a guest host for
A
you one day or
regular.
something, kind of like the guest hosts for late night shows or whatever.
That's a good
Uh,
idea.
Thank you for your time and insight, and thank you for your I'm so humbled to be a partner with you, and for your ability to listen to me go on rants, because what we're building, again, back to GearNet, gear source, gear share, gear,
It's cool.
etc., etc.,
As long as
it
we
is
don't burn up
incredible.
and implode on our reentry back to Earth, like
Right.
Elon's rockets and stuff, will be great. It's just,
Absolutely.
we are playing with fire with some of this technology, and we're learning as we go. And I mean, we've done a remarkable job. We launched a product in September, which some people would have said should take 2 years or something, and we got it done. It works. It works
We
really
got it
well.
done in months,
Yeah,
which is
we got it done in months.
unheard of, because I
I
know I
know.
challenged you
It's
on that at the
incredible.
first thing when you said
Yeah.
we're
Are
going to
you
launch. I
nuts?
said, there's
Yeah.
no way, right? Yeah. So, folks, like, take a chance with us, because the ride you're going to have with us is also going to be awesome.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you have it. All right, James. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you. Appreciate
See
it.
ya. Yeah.
Bye for now.
GearShare, the world's first AI-powered cross-rental platform built for the live events industry. The GearShare team have been busy onboarding customers and connecting rental and production houses around the world to smarter ways to find and deploy the gear they need without the usual chaos. And now, with a new affiliate program, you can earn just by sharing this valuable tool. Whether you're a designer, account exec, or production manager, if you've got connections in this business, you can offer a discount and get paid real money when your friends sign up. It's as simple as that. GearShare is expanding globally, helping companies to reduce CapEx, increase utilization, and keep shows rolling smarter. Check it out and join the disruption at gearshare.live.